All right, everyone, gather round. Tonight, I'm going to dig up a seriously creepy experience from my childhood. This happened a long time ago, but every time I think about it, a chill still runs down my spine. It was the early 90s, and I grew up in a pretty low-income area in London. Times were tough, but we kids always found ways to have fun. My best mate and I, our favorite thing to do was to sneak into a place we called the Golfie, which was really just a rundown wall separating our neighborhood from a golf course. We loved going there to collect lost golf balls, especially those fluorescent yellow ones. They were the coolest things ever to us. So, one day during summer break, I went out to meet my best friend, and the weirdest thing was, the entire neighborhood was deserted. Usually, our area was teeming with our group of friends, kids running everywhere. I remember it so vividly because it was a perfect, sunny day, but that unnatural quietness, it just felt off. So, we arrived at the wall we usually scrambled over to get to the Golfie. He hopped up before me and sat astride it to pull me up. Once we were both up, we looked at each other, completely perplexed. I genuinely remember to this day the sheer confusion etched on his face. It was baffling. We looked over at the place we had been hundreds of times before, and it was different. Utterly, unrecognizably different. Instead of the small wooded area that led onto the golf course, there was this huge paved area, filled with rows and rows of what looked like greenhouses, and these odd-looking square plots that seemed like they were meant for plants. But these greenhouses weren't new, far from it. They looked abandoned, old, and completely neglected. Most of them had plastic sheeting flapping gently in the summer breeze where the glass used to be. The square plots were overgrown with weeds, and so were the cracks in the paving slabs that made up the floor. We just sat there on the wall for a while, watching, with absolutely no clue what to make of it all. Obviously, this was too bizarre to be true in our young minds, and once the initial shock wore off, curiosity kicked in hard. We both looked at each other, and I could see that we have to check this out glint in his eyes. So, we both hopped down from the wall and began to explore the place. I know it sounds banal, but the whole area just felt off, you know? Like it just didn't seem normal. I can't explain it to this day, but we were sticking incredibly close to each other, even though we were laughing and kidding as we ventured further in, probably to keep our spirits up. We peered into the greenhouses, and they were just full of rundown, rusted equipment of some sort, and completely overgrown with weeds and sprawling plants that seemed to be consuming everything. After about 20 minutes of exploration, I remember we stopped and looked around, kind of in disbelief at how enormous this whole area was. We hadn't changed direction, and now, standing in the middle of all of it, we could neither see our neighborhood nor the golf course. It was like we were swallowed by this place. This is when it got really, really messed up. As we were stood there, my friend looked at me, his voice low, and said, "Can you hear that?" The look on his face was dead serious, and I stood still, listening intently. "What?" I asked him back. He just put his finger to his lips, urging silence, and then I heard it. It was like a really low hum, the kind of high voltage of electricity makes. I don't know, something between a hum and a buzz. As we stood there, it got louder and louder, as if it was getting closer, but not from any particular direction. It felt like it was coming from all around us. We started a brisk walk back the way we came, the buzzing growing more intense, until we panicked and just started to run. As we ran, and I mean full sprint, through these weird constructions, we started hearing something else behind us. I can't explain it, almost a mechanical noise. Definitely not human or animal. The plastic sheeting and the way the place was laid out made it impossible to see anything more than 10 or 15 meters ahead, so we never saw what it was, but it was there, right behind us, gaining. We must have run hard for maybe 3-4 minutes on pure adrenaline, and I remember reaching that wall completely empty, using the last shred of energy I had left to clamber over it. Once we were over, both of us threw up, probably from the sheer exertion of sprinting so hard for so long. We made our way back through the neighborhood, and everything seemed normal again. People, cars, activity, all business as usual. The really messed up part is, once we explained what had happened to our friend group, they obviously all wanted to go see what we had found and what had chased us. Understandably, because it sounded insane. The next day, a whole group of us, maybe 10 or 12, went back down to see the place. It wasn't there. I swear, we went up and down that wall for an hour looking for it. It just wasn't there. There's no way it was in some other place. We only ever used that one section of the wall to get there, and given the sheer size of that area, even if we were off by 100 or 200 meters, we would have seen it. Nothing. Literally nothing. Me and my friend occasionally spoke about it, like, hey, remember that day? But never really more than that. Then, I guess life happened, and we went our different ways. Hell, maybe you'll read this and recognize the story. Either way, only 2 of us knew about it until now. What a freaking weird place.